a free trade agreement that could shape the future of two of the world's largest economies. India and the European Union are back at the negotiating table, but after 14 rounds of talks, is a deal finally within reach? India and the European Union. Two global heavyweights with a combined market of over 1.8 billion people and a shared ambition to deepen economic ties, are racing against time to finalize a free trade agreement by December 2025. The 14th round of negotiations kicks off in Brussels this week, marking yet another effort to unlock a deal that's been more than a decade in the making. In 2023-24 alone, India-EU goods trade reached a whopping $135 billion, making the EU India's largest trading partner. With rising global protectionism and uncertainty in other trade corridors like the US and China, this FTA could be a geopolitical game changer. Negotiations for this free trade agreement were revived in July 2022, and since then, officials from both sides have met almost every second month. The last round, the 13th, was held in New Delhi in September, with top EU officials, including Trade Commissioner Maros Sefcovic and Agriculture Commissioner Christoph Hansen, flying in for high-level discussions. But despite their presence, hopes for a breakthrough fell flat.
I'm very happy that I can also address you in the middle of what are very intensive talks and negotiations on what I believe would be ground-breaking free trade agreement between European Union and India. And we've been negotiating this for quite some time, but I can tell you that it never got to such a momentum as we have right now between Minister Goyal and myself, and of course having the strong political support from both leaders, Prime Minister Modi and President of the European Commission, Ursula von der Leyen.
According to EU Ambassador to India Herve Delphin, the round was a missed opportunity, especially on sensitive topics like automobiles and agriculture. So what's holding the deal back? Let's break it down. Automobiles. The EU wants India to slash its high import duties on cars, which currently range from 60% to 100%, and with additional levies, the total tax can go up to 160%. This is a major barrier for European automakers looking to expand in India. Agricultural products. The EU is also pushing for broader access for its farm goods, including wines and dairy, into Indian markets. On India's side, the focus is on duty-free access for its labor-intensive exports like textiles, electronics, and auto components. But there's a new concern: the EU's Carbon Border Adjustment Mechanism, or CBAM. Starting January 2026, the EU plans to impose a carbon tax on imports of steel, aluminium, cement, and fertilizers. This tax is designed to encourage lower emissions, but has become a major concern for Indian exporters. Already, India's exports of steel and aluminium to the EU have dropped, as many small and mid-sized companies are unwilling or unable to report carbon emissions, a requirement that began in late 2024. For India, CBAM risks becoming a non-tariff barrier, just as tariff discussions are nearing a breakthrough. Despite the challenges, not all is bleak. So far, 11 out of 23 chapters in the FTA have been finalized. These include customs, dispute settlement, digital trade, but critical areas like market access, rules of origin, sustainable development are still under negotiation. EU Ambassador Delphin emphasized the EU's readiness to finalize a meaningful deal and pointed to the economic complementarity between the two regions. India and the EU represent the fourth and second largest economies globally. The potential for expanding trade is massive. So why does this FTA matter now more than ever? With global trade facing shocks, from pandemic disruptions to geopolitical tensions, countries are looking to diversify trade routes and secure supply chains. Many economies, including the US, are turning inward, tariffs are rising. Market access is shrinking. In this environment, a comprehensive FTA between India and the EU would send a powerful signal that cooperation is still possible. The EU sees this as an opportunity to gain access to the world's most populous country and a rapidly growing middle class. They're looking to tap into India's markets for cars, machinery, high-end agricultural goods, and green tech. India's side. India, on the other hand, wants better access to European capital, advanced technology, and protection for its local industries and climate-sensitive sectors. But the balancing act is tricky. With just over a year left until the December 2025 deadline, negotiators are under pressure to deliver results. The 14th round in Brussels is seen as a last-lap push, one that could either bring the deal closer to reality or leave it hanging in uncertainty once again. But as Ambassador Delphin put it, we should use the FTA to diversify trade, hedge against uncertainties, and strengthen our supply chains.
Somehow, we are reconnecting with our joint history between our two shores, Europe and India, and Kerala. During the Roman times, more than 2,000 years ago, Europe was connected to Kerala, exchanging goods such as spices, ivory, precious gems, and textiles. It was the golden road of the times. Today, the EU is the largest trading partner of India. Team Europe already today has a large footprint in India. Over 6,000 companies providing directly over 3 million jobs in India. So we invest in India, we deliver jobs in India. However, among all India states and union territory, Kerala is just number 10 in the number of presence of European companies, representing a turnover of 300 million euros. It's 100 times less than in Karnataka.
The India-EU Free Trade Agreement isn't just about tariffs or taxes. It's about strategic alignment in a rapidly changing world, where trade is becoming as much about politics and values as it is about economics. Will India and the EU find a middle ground? Or will the sticking points prove too tough to crack? One thing is certain, the next few months will be crucial.